Despite the ever-present fear that men are feeling, now is the perfect time for men to be men. As a coach for over 30 years now, what really concerns me is how fragile young men are becoming. This is a tragedy, and often I think it's maybe a deliberate ploy for weaker men who crave power over others to deliberately create fragility into a society so they can control it. Over the last 2 weeks, I've had an influx of young men and one girl come to me who've been severely beaten up at school, and nothing's happened to these people. And what really concerns me is that 4 or 5 people beating up on one person, normally someone that holds more values than them, because we have a cultural trend of destroying bravery, dismantling it and celebrating that, which is a real concern. And I've come up against this a lot recently. So what we have is an increasingly corrupt society indulging in a form of moral degradation. So children are being indoctrinated and introduced to harmful ideologies, and women's identity is being attempted to be erased and changed. Men are often portrayed as incompetent fools on TV and film. They're also subjected to the term toxic masculinity to further suppress them and make them uncertain about who they are. And this is how you destroy a society. Remove its values, remove its morals, and let it indulge as much as it will and normalise a moral degradation throughout the whole culture. So I believe men are actually the key to turning this around. We've stood on the sidelines for too long. I understand why, but now is not the time to be quiet. Now is not the time to be subservient. The masculine great protective force that once was is still there. But unfortunately, we're using modern terms such as men showing their feelings and it's okay to cry as some sort of panacea for the male angst out there. Although I'm not saying these things aren't true, they are most certainly not enough to change around male fragility. It's not changing men for the better. It's not changing society for the better. In fact, it appears to be feminising it even more and weakening it to the point where men are now almost disabled, to the point where they no longer know what their role and function is in the society around them. And the problem with this is what we aim at with our emotions and our thoughts will become our future. And it won't just become our future, it'll become our children's future and our wives and girlfriends' future and our family's future. So men need to step up now. The standards we've been given are so low now that we'd have to live on our knees to even exist there. Is this what we were born for as men? To live on our knees? To see our society morally degenerate into cowardice? Is that what we were here for? To create weak mindsets that can't defend much at all and will actually fight to defend their own limitations? I don't think so. And deep down in the recesses of every man's mind, he knows that too. Henry David Thoreau once wrote, "Most men lead lives of quiet desperation." This is the battle within every man and a battle that he must undertake. Everything around you will entice you to be less than what you are, but you must know that you are more. The truth is, we are born in the perfect moment, in the perfect time to do everything we can to serve society and make it better for our children, our family, and society at large. If we want a better world, we must raise our standards. Know what you stand for and stay standing at all costs. Even those that seek to lead you are leading from their knees. Let us raise our own courage, integrity and standards so that every person can free himself, their self, and we create a better world through this way, one person at a time. By doing this, the world will change accordingly. We cannot just point out and just blame everybody for everything when we ourselves could be better, we could be more. Weak leaders cannot win if every man has raised his standards beyond what they're willing to live from, above and beyond the degradation they seek to impose upon us. Ultimately, only a man can degrade himself. Let us as men recreate the world through courage and integrity. And this itself will create its own movement. It could reignite the minds of men, creating profound change in the world around us towards an honour and a better way of living. My fellow men, now is your time. Now is our time.